Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What is going on out there, peeps? All right, been doing a little spring cleaning. I don't know why they call it spring cleaning. It seems to me the more you clean, the dirtier everything starts to look. It's like moving your mess from one area to another. You're not accomplishing anything, it feels like. I don't know if any of you have had that experience or if you're going through that now. But as you try to prepare for, the hotter summer months, it just seems like every time you want to focus on a small project, it somehow, some way expands into something much more bigger. Anyways, let's get back to Iraq. I know we're still talking about the budget, but there is something going on with the exchange rate. Let's get into this. Before we get started, if you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I certainly do appreciate it. If you're thinking about buying gold and silver, or any other precious metals for that matter, head on over to our friends at Money Metals Exchange. The link is down below in the description. When you purchase over there at Money Metals Exchange, you will now be automatically entered into a chance to get free giveaways. This month, you'll be automatically registered to be one of 3 people who will receive 10 ounces. That's 10 silver eagles each. So head on over to Money Metals, make your purchase, and automatically enter to win. For those of you who are unaware, I do have my own webpage. I can be found at Pimpy's News Network. Over here, I do post videos that I can't post on YouTube without getting in trouble. I also have my own Facebook group called Pimpy's Investment Chat. Over here, we do talk about gold, silver, cryptocurrencies, as well as foreign currency investments. So come on over here and join us. It's free to do so. I can also be found over here on Twitter, MeWe, YouTube, Odyssey, and now I'm on Rumble. For whatever reasons, my videos are not showing up on my channel yet, but I can be found just by going to the search button and typing in Pimpy's Investment Chat. And my videos will pop up for you to check out. If I get kicked off YouTube or I get suspended on YouTube, you can find me on any other one of these social media platforms. I'm happy to see the number of you who are taking advantage of this opportunity to win free silver over at Money Metals. All you got to do is follow the link down below. It'll take you over to Money Metals. Just make a purchase and you're automatically entered for an opportunity to win 10 silver ounces. Okay, so it looks like the representatives have accomplished their second reading of the federal budget. And it looks like they're going to do a vote on the budget sometime next week, around the middle of next week or so. As I stated before, there is a group of individuals who seem to be holding up the entire budget. Most obviously, it's a political statement. If they can continue to delay the vote on the budget, it's just going to make this particular government look bad in the eyes of the people. Well, it's just posturing. Will the budget get passed? Well, you hope the sooner than better, because there's a lot of projects out there that are waiting for funding. And if they can get these projects going, in my opinion, you'd be looking at some great growth economically over in Iraq if we could just get this budget passed. So al-Bandawi said that after reading the budget law on the second reading, the technical committees in the parliament began to host ministers, governors, and officials to discuss the details of the budget, the doors of exchange, and projects. Good signs of voting on the budget next Wednesday or Thursday, he noted. The main controversial point in the budget is the size of the fiscal deficit, and so far the deficit has not been reached due to the request of ministers and governors for their shares. So everybody's jockeying to get a big piece of this huge pie that's going to be happening here. We're talking about a 3-year budget at this size that's never been done before over in Iraq, and everybody's looking for their portion of the pie. He added that the size of the federal budget is estimated at 198 trillion dinars, which is a huge amount. So if it is spent within a real plan, I think it will play a big role in serving the country. The need for large strategic and service projects after the approval of the budget, adding that the budget includes the installation of 720,000 minutes of contracts, procedures, and lectures, as well as the inclusion of more than 800 or to 1 million in social welfare programs. So that's a huge gap between 800 and 1 million, just throwing that out there. So I don't even think Iraq has that many dinars in circulation. That's 198 trillion dinars is in the budget. So yeah, it's a pretty big budget. And if people are going to approve that kind of budget, as you can imagine, different ministers and different governors are like, wait a minute, if you're going to approve something this large, then we want ours as well. Now, I do like this move that Kurdistan is doing. I told you that over there in Baghdad, throughout Iraq, once they started doing this would be a big help towards strengthening the Iraqi dinar. Kurdistan, in Baghdad's footsteps, demand to use the dinar exclusively in the real estate and car market. Yeah, this is a big move. So if you want to boost the confidence and value of your currency, you really have to get out of the habit of using dual currencies. We know that over in Iraq, they use the Iraqi dinar as well as the US dollar. People trust the US dollar and prefer the US dollar more than Iraqi dinar. But if you take that option away from them and force them to start using the dinar, it will strengthen the dinar, especially in the exchange rate against the US dollar. And how does that work? Well, if you're in the country and people prefer the US dollar, they're willing to give up more Iraqi dinar to have the US dollar. That's why there's a black market out there. So that actually weakens the dinar. Now, if you restrict the use of US dollars, then that means the demand for US dollars will decline and the demand for dinars will increase. This will give the value more to the Iraqi dinar. So right here you can see, according to the federal government media and multiple official data, Baghdad decided to trade in dinars instead of dollars to stabilize the dollar exchange rate and strengthen the dinar. This is something I've talked about several times. I would love to see Iraq take the same approach that Russia has, which is demand that everybody use Iraqi dinar to make purchases. This would seriously strengthen Iraqi dinar and do away with the dollar and just go ahead and back your dinar up with gold. So over in Kurdistan, it looks like the political parties are playing nice with one another, as one of the political parties is now back at the table of negotiations. In the presence of the National Union Team, the Council on Ministers of the region approves a financial project in Kurdistan. According to a statement of regional government, Barzani, at the beginning of the meeting, expressed his happiness with the return of the ministerial team of the Patriotic Union of Kurdistan to the meeting of the Councils of Ministers. Barzani, on behalf of the Councils of Ministers, also renewed the KRG's support for Barzani initiative and message for national reconciliation, stressing the need for unity between the Kurdistan parties in order to preserve national interests. So that's a good first step, but we'll see how long that lasts. Just like the other parties are playing nice over in Baghdad, it's necessary for the Iraqi people that these groups get along with one another and start working together. That seems to be the issue in all governments around the world. It's never been this divisive. I mean, the United States is teetering on the brink of civil war. As much as people probably don't see it, you have to pay attention to the bigger picture. If things don't change by this next election, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Central bank attributes the reduction of the dollar exchange rate to the increase in cash reserves and electronic platforms. So what the cash reserves do, it allows them to flood the market with a competing currency, therefore driving down the exchange rate slightly. In this case, Iraq's parallel market, people were giving up quite a bit of dinar to get the US dollars. And what that does, it affects the official rate. I would love to see Iraq change the exchange rate again, lower it. Go from $13.20 per dollar, bring it down to around $1,100. By doing that, this allows Iraqi dinar to be stronger, so when they're importing goods, they get to buy more goods with their dinars. People would want more of the dinars than they would the US dollar. I think it would be a good move. It's not a huge increase. I mean, they were at $1,190. I like to see them get back down to $1,100 and see what happens from there, because they're struggling. Every time the United States does a rate hike over here, it strengthens the US dollar. And currencies around the world are affected by this, and they end up using the reserves just to try to keep up with the US dollar. Iraq doesn't have to do that. They have oil. They could just easily tell people they have to trade in Iraqi dinars and not US dollars, and you would see a huge jump in the value of the Iraqi dinars. International Monetary Fund expects the value of non-oil revenues in Iraq to raise in 2023. That's if they get a budget passed. But even so, you can see that 95% of the money that pays for their budget comes from oil revenues. That has to change dramatically. They really got to get it down to somewhere around 50-60%. And the only way they could do that is start investing in the private sector as well as the public sector, and start finding alternative revenue for the government to make, instead of just relying on oil all the time. Anyway, so next week we're going to see if we get a budget passed or not. We'll keep an eye on that. And I would love to see the Iraqi Dinar increase in value slightly. I don't think it's a big move, but there is talk about it, and we'll see what happens. Anyways, that's it for now. We'll catch you later. I'm out.